Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 327 of the Drunk Testers podcast. I'm host, always, I'm Tyler, and join me with the man, the myth, the legend himself, Sir Colonel Gables. What's up, buddy?
Oh man, I am so stoked after that Nintendo Direct. I'll tell you
Oh,
what.
wow. Okay. Okay. All right. Um, wow. All right. I'm okay. All right. Well, I'll save my opinions for later. Anyways, this is our final episode for E3, going over the last press conference. This was the Nintendo Direct. Um, I guess we'll just do what we've been doing. We've already done Square Enix's, Microsoft's, Ubisoft's, and Bethesda's. So this is our last one. So what we're going to do, as we have been doing, is I'll run through everything that was talked about, and we'll go back and we'll talk about the things we liked and disliked about the press conference. So it started off, the hero from the Dragon Quest games is the next DLC character for Smash. It's coming out this summer. Dragon Quest 11 that was talked about for 6 hours on the last press conference for Square Enix was talked about for only 3 hours this time, and finally got a release date, which is weird. Why would they say, "Hey, it's coming this fall on Monday night," but then Tuesday morning, "Hey, guys, come on September 27th." Anyways, weird to me. Luigi Mansions 3, they're talked about. We already knew this, but it has 2-player local co-op and online as well. But they still get no release date, just 2019. I thought that was weird. Then Dark Crystal Age is it's a tactics game. Netflix is making games now, and Dark Crystals is one of the games that's being made by them. I thought that was a really weird trailer. Link's Awakening is coming September 20th. It's going to have a dungeon creator mode, which looks really cool. Trials of Mana is coming out early 2020, and they announced that the original 3 Mana games are now on Switch, so that was a shadow drop for them. Witcher 3 is being released for the Switch this year. We got a trailer for Fire Emblem Three Houses, which is, we already knew the date, but July 26th, people that didn't know. This is the weirdest part of this whole direct for me. So they did this whole live action trailer where these two boy and girl teenagers, looks like, went to this mansion, haunted looking mansion, then went and played Resident Evil 1 on their Switch, which is weird because Resident Evil 1's been on the Switch for a long time. And the whole trailer was them playing Resident Evil 1, and it was a trailer announcing the fact that Resident Evil 5 and 6 are coming to the Switch. So that was super weird. Don't know what's going on with that, other than the fact that everybody hates 6 and 5 is mixed reviews. I assume that's probably why. No More Heroes 3 was officially announced. That's coming out in 2020. Contra Rogue Corps is coming out September 24th. Contra Collection is out today as well. I think there's 5 Contra games that's out now. Daemon Ex Machina got a release date September 13th. Panzer Dragoon, it's a remake of the PlayStation 1 game, is coming this winter. The Pokeball Plus that you can buy and play with the Let's Go games. You can actually use it still with the Pokemon Sword and Shield, but what you do is you transfer Pokemon into it and you walk around with it, and I don't know what they didn't really say what it does, but it says special things can happen if you walk around your Pokemon outside the game. So then Astral Chain got a release date of August 30th. The narrator to me sounded like a white Morgan Freeman though, so that was a weird thing. Empire of Sin is coming spring 2020. It's a gangster 1920 looking game, like a strategy game. I thought it was almost like a Civilization, but with there's some minor combat in there. Then we had Ultimate Alliance 3. It's coming out July 19th. We already know that, though. But they did announce there's an expansion you can buy now, and that it's going to start this fall. There's 3 different expansion packs coming. No details if it's just characters or what it is. But the first part of that's going to drop on this fall. Then Cadence of Hyrule got a release date. It's out. It's out technically today, Thursday, but it's out now if you want to play that. Then they announced Mario Sonic Olympics is coming this November. Animal Crossing New Horizon got actual some gameplay for that in the trailer, but it got delayed. It was supposed to be a 2019 game. It's now coming March 20th of next year. Spyro the Dragon is coming out September 24th. Ni no Kuni is coming September 20th. It's the remake of a remaster of the game for PS3. Minecraft Dungeon is coming. Dead by Daylight is coming September 24th as well. Super Lucky Tale, which was a Xbox One exclusive, is coming this fall. Banjo Kazooie is actually then there was another cool trailer for Smash. Banjo Kazooie is coming this fall as the third of the 5 DLC characters for Smash Brothers, and then it ended with a Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 surprise announcement, and that they announced it's now in development. So Gables, We both watched this. What was your thoughts overall on the press conference or direct?
I was honestly very impressed with what was announced over at the Nintendo Direct and the Nintendo Direct in general and stuff. I was kind of surprised they did start with like some bit of like the Smash information in terms of like revealing of a character and stuff. There were rumors that potentially led to like Erdrick or like the lead heroes and stuff like that for Dragon Warrior and stuff, Dragon Quest and stuff being
Yeah, I
mentioned
think everybody knew that was
as
happening.
a yeah, people knew that was happening, but people definitely did not know that Banjo Kazooie was the other one that's going to be going through. And man, let me tell you, when I saw Banjo Kazooie actually come forth after that little teaser thing and stuff, I'm like, oh yes, this feels so right. This feels so right on so many levels because it makes sense. Because that was the game, that series was pivotal for the Nintendo 64 back in the day. That was better than Mario 64 in my personal opinion. But I'm so glad to see Banjo-Kazooie inside Smash. They look fantastic. The little attacks and stuff were like Banjo using Kazooie as a gun, the reference to like Banjo-Tooie, plus like using the whole thing, grabbing Kazooie, just bashing stuff, and then all of a sudden the final Smash being the whole Jinjo-nator, like the
Hmm.
whole end thing of like the original Banjo-Kazooie. That was awesome. That whole reveal was awesome. I thought the reveal for the Dragon Quest character was a little bit lukewarm at first and stuff. I kind of understood it and stuff like that because, for one, Dragon Quest is bigger in Japan, and so a lot of those characters, which were references to like past games, the main one they showcased was the one from Dragon Quest XI, but you had the original Dragon Quest protagonist was Erdrick, then you had like the one from like Dragon Quest 4 and then 8 as well, and so definitely was some good representation for like the fan base and stuff for Dragon Quest. But before we go into any other things that are positive, I'm going to touch light. I'm going to touch things on what I did not like in this Nintendo Direct. One, that weird ass freaking thing with Resident Evil absolutely made no fucking
No,
sense whatsoever.
I get why they did it though, because I mean, like Resident Evil 5 and 6 are like the number titles are like definitely like the two like that. Like 5 is like mixed reviews. Like it's a good game, but it's just a bad Resident Evil game, and 6 is just awful in every level. So it makes sense, but I was so confused. And I think a lot of people were. I'm like, one's already on there. Like, what do we do? Like people, I think part of me was like, are they announcing a new Resident Evil game or something? And then it come out, oh no, it's just 5 and 6.
Oh man, I kind of thought that they would probably have at least Resident Evil 7 come on Switch. You know, finally. I
Yeah,
mean, that was something weird that they had tested in Japan, but
yeah,
it's like at least that would have made more sense than going through and bringing forth the bastard child editions of Resident Evil onto the Switch and then masquerading it with like, oh hey, you see the original Resident Evil that we've already released before?
yeah,
Yeah, this is where you can play it inside of a pseudo freaking haunted house and stuff.
yeah.
Oh, by the way, Final Fantasy, I mean no, Final Fantasy, Resident Evil 5 and 6 are now available on the Nintendo Switch at this date. I'm like, I don't give a fuck about either of those. That was definitely one of the weakest parts of that Nintendo Direct.
Yeah.
But another one was when they did like reveal that there was a new Contra game in the works and stuff. It's a whole like 3D perspective Contra. For one, it was kind of like a what the fuck moment because one, Konami really hasn't done anything in regards to that franchise in years, and all of a sudden it's like, okay, let's have this 3D sort of like isometric sort of like shooter and stuff. Which I'll tell you this right now, historically, those type of Contra games have been
Mhm.
garbage. Most of them have been garbage.
I saw a tweet that I think it was Jason Schreier put out, but it's like about the new Contra game. He's like, I thought they were done making 3DS games. I thought that was awesome. That was a great tweet.
Well, he had made a good point too, because what Schreier is mentioning and stuff, the graphical fidelity and a lot of the combat stuff, it reminds me basically of like a 3DS title because the resolutions look kind of
Yeah.
terrible. The some bits of the action is sort of questionable. I didn't even know that damn thing was Contra until they freaking said the
No,
name of it.
I didn't hear. That game
I
looks.
thought it was some sort of new freaking game or something.
That might be the worst game ever shown off at E3.
I'm not too sure about it being the worst game shown off at E3, but it was definitely one of the worst things about the Nintendo
It
Direct.
was definitely the worst
That's
game
for
shown
sure.
at this E3.
And the funny part about it is, right after they announced that, it's like, oh, hey, you can download the other, the better games or something like that on Nintendo Switch right
Yeah.
now. It's like, oh, hey, that's nice. But okay, let's go back to the things I did like. The collection of mana. let me tell you something here. What I loved about this, not just because of the fact that Secret of Mana is one of the Super Nintendo games that's like one of the best. It's up there with things like Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy VI. Maybe not to like that level of like awesomeness, but it's definitely up there. One of the some of the best like JRPG experiences. Its sequel, it's been in sort of like a localization sort of hell or something for years. To a point, it's like there's a lot of people thought this game would never come to state, never come by stateside, only because of the amount of localization for this JRPG, it being so old that may not be getting a lot of interest. But then again, seeing the collection of mana confirming that it's coming to the U.S. digitally, it's $40 on on the eShop. By the way, you have Final Fantasy Land, which is like basically the first Secret of Mana style game. Then you have Secret of Mana, and then you have what they call Trials of Mana, which is basically for gamers that have been around. The actual Japanese name of it is like Seiken Densetsu 2. But basically, I was very excited because this I've heard people just clamoring for years, even to the extent where they've gone through and like homebrewed like certain ROMs on an SNES cartridge, and then all of a sudden have a conversion chip to try to convert things into English so they can play this game on their like Super Famicom. It's like there have been a lot of diehards that have been clamoring for that game for years to play. So I'm very happy for those people that are now getting a chance. Actually, as of now, as of like that Nintendo Direct ended and stuff, when that thing became available, people now have the chance to play the sequel to Secret of Mana, which that's fantastic. What I found funny is it was like this announcement was like right after the Trials of Mana kind of like remaster that's coming out on the Switch like in 2020, which that in and of itself, I didn't even know that was the sequel to Secret of Mana until that came out. But let's see, the most, let's see, the whole elephant in the room thing. Obviously, The Legend of Zelda, a Link's Awakening remaster. That thing looks fantastic. Let's see, for Animal Crossing, I thought that looked pretty fantastic too. I'm disappointed that it's been pushed to 2020 in March of 2020, but at the same time, I understand. Let's see. Oh gosh, there was so much in this thing I loved. Oh, the confirmation No More Heroes 3. I absolutely loved the first two No More Heroes. I played them when they first released on the Wii. Yes, motion control things, everything. They were so unique at the time. Being able to play as Travis touchdown the original game and then doing moves like say German suplexes and freaking using beam katanas and then just using the freaking like Wiimote and stuff to like just basically jack up like the freaking energy bar and this and that. It's such a novel thing. I'll never forget the intro sequence inside No More Heroes 2, where you're basically like fighting off against some dude that's like a mock parody of Cloud Strife from Final Fantasy VII. Oh, that was so fun. But seeing that the No More Heroes 3 coming out so many years after like Desperate Struggle, No More Heroes 2 came out on the Wii, it makes me happy because that tells me that the last Suda 51 game with Travis Touchdown in it, it did fairly well across those platforms in order to consider doing an actual full-on No More Heroes 3. Very excited for that announcement. I'm also very excited about the Panzer Dragoon announcement too, because that was an obscure, like, what the fuck? Really? Panzer Dragoon's coming back? That's like something that you would see like on the Sega Saturn, or like the Xbox, like a rail shooter and stuff. Basically, people have kind of touted like Panzer Dragoon being like some of the best Star Fox games ever created because they're on rail shooters and this and that, just controlling a dragon, this and that. Oh boy, and I know for a fact Panzer Dragoon Saga is one of the most sought after Sega Saturn games. Some people pay like at least a couple hundred just to find a copy of that game. They sure did back around 10, 20 years ago. But man, so happy about Panzer Dragoon. I'm trying to think right here. Oh my god, what else am I forgetting? Holy crap. Oh my gosh. Well, the Pokemon thing wasn't too surprising, though. I mean, I'm really not going to be using any Pokeball accessory and shit for those games. Oh, boy. But overall, I was very happy in regards to what was presented inside the Nintendo Direct, there was a lot of coverage over like certain niche franchises, a lot of which I came in to this Direct with low expectations. I didn't know what was going to be shown. I know they were going to probably go forth and maybe showcase like a Smash character in their DLC pass. And I know they were going to talk a little bit about Luigi's Mansion 3, which looks pretty awesome. And I'm kind of questioning why there was not a release date put at the end of that trailer because it looks mostly done to me. But I felt that this was possibly the strongest showing out of any other like press conference stuff. So I would actually give it a 8 out of 10.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Cool. Um, so I went through it. I have some mixed emotions about this one as well. The hero from Dragon Quest, Dragon Warriors, not too surprising. I think everybody knew that was happening. Makes sense too. Disappointing that we're getting like the 30th sword wielding fighter in Smash though. There's so many of them.
There's too many sword wields inside of Smash.
Just Fire Emblem characters alone, there's too many. With all the sword wielders.
Agreed.
Dragon Quest 11, the 9 hours of trailers we got over the course of 12 hours was just too much. If I ever hear the Dragon Quest 11 music again, it'll be too soon. Luigi Mansion 3, like I was already, that's a day one buy for me regardless. So whatever they showed to me, unless it was like the more you showed me, like it's just you're only hurting your chances because like I'm gonna buy that game. I'm excited for that game. I love Luigi Mansion 1. I liked the 3DS version. I didn't love it, but I liked it. But I'm definitely excited for that game. I'm definitely gonna pick that up. I'm excited about the local co-op stuff. Like that could be fun. I can actually use that. Yeah. So, Link's Awakening. I really liked. Especially with the dungeon, create your own dungeon mode kind of thing. People are like, I know people have been clamoring for like a dungeon, Link's like a Super Mario Maker, but with Link, with Zelda and like the build your own dungeon. So that could be fun. That could be endless amount of gameplay coming out of this thing.
Yeah, I do like the fact. I do like the fact that when you do that dungeon crawling thing, you can unlock like certain pieces by going through certain dungeons and stuff. That sounds pretty fun.
Yeah. So that could be really cool. It got kind of weird that there's not really weird, but there's just a lot of kind of Square Enix, just a lot of JRPGs there for a while, and they're like a lot of, like we got like the Dark Crystal stuff, we got Dragon Quest, we got the Trials of Mana, the Mana games, Fire Emblem, No More Heroes, which isn't so much of that, but for a good chunk there, it just kind of got weird to me in the middle.
Yeah, you know what? Now that you mention and stuff like that, the whole thing with Dark Crystal and stuff like that, that was just weird in and of itself. Not only the way it was presented, but it's a tactical, like a turn-based sort of like tactical RPG where it's like you had to move things in a grid, a la like Final Fantasy Tactics, and the whole kind of thing. Yeah, that was kind of like out of left field. Like, okay, this is a game made by Netflix.
Yeah, so it was definitely really weird, but and the game doesn't. It looks like a mobile game. It doesn't look like it should be on a console. The Fire Emblem, or not the Fire Emblem, but the Resident Evil stuff we talked about already. But that was the most baffling. That and the Dark Crystal stuff was the most baffling things to me. Contra, the Rogue Corps, that game looks fucking terrible.
It looks like ass.
Yeah, like there's been like games that come out like they're all showed up at E3 and then they come out later on and they're terrible. This game, like it's one of the few games you see at E3 where like you just know that game's gonna suck. It's gonna be garbage, and like,
you know exactly when you see it.
Yeah, like it doesn't happen very often. You maybe see one every couple of years. Like they don't usually make the cut, and the fact that I made the cut just shocks me. Like Nintendo should lose E3 just because that game was shown. It's not going to, but it should. But then I don't know, Daemon X Machina, like it's not my type of game. But the Pokeball Plus stuff is kind of disappointing. Like I'm glad it's not. I don't know what they could have done to make me like not hate it. But like what they're gonna do with it, because I don't want to use it as a controller, and I don't want to. I guess I don't know what I wanted. Just not make me. Don't force me to use it as a controller, and that kind of came away from it being. Hey, you can put a Pokemon on it. You can walk around with them. Like that was the thing. I'm like, that kind of sucks.
Right.
Astral Chain, I'm looking forward to. I'm not really looking forward to, but I'm hopeful for. That's a game I'm going to wait and see what people say about it because I love Platinum games. And when they first announced it, I got really excited for it, mainly because it sounded like Nier Automata like music. Like it's the same people that made Nier Automata, like the music for that. So I'm excited for that reason. But yeah,
and that game comes out pretty shortly too, like around
August 30th. Yeah, so That could be good. That could possibly be cool. Same day as Blair Witch though, which could be awesome. And that's free on Game Pass.
That's a possibility.
Yeah, so it's a game I'm gonna wait and see. But I'm just like, what the hell's going on with Bayonetta? Like, this is
I know.
they've released.
I know. We didn't see anything about Bayonetta 3.
Yeah.
That's just crazy. That was announced like 2 E3s ago.
Well, it was announced at the Game Awards 2017.
Oh, that's right.
So 2017. So it's been a year and a half. But it's just weird that they're making this like whole other game, and this is happening.
Right.
I don't know, like the Ultimate Alliance 3, like I've said before, like that game looks like it should be a mobile game, not a full-on 60-hour title. But it's a game I'm hopeful for. It's just good. If it's just good and stuff, and people like it, like, I might check it out. But if anything less, I'm just gonna skip that. Cadence of Hyrule, I was kind of disappointed there wasn't like a shadow drop game, like it's out today. But it's out now. I bought it. I haven't got a chance to play it yet, but I purchased it, and I'm actually looking forward to playing that. I've heard mixed reviews about it, though. Animal Crossing, like the reasons it got delayed is cool because they don't want to force people to crunch. But I'm just not an Animal Crossing guy. Never going to be. I've tried it multiple times, just never got into them.
They're the most relaxing games, personally.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, you're in debt. Cool. Like, go dig. I get why people love them. I do see the like why people love them, but it's just not my style. Really, the big, like the two biggest things coming. Who would have thought this going into it? The two biggest things in E3 this year was John Wick and Breath of the Wild 2. Like,
Yeah.
who would have thought that?
Holy
Like,
crap! I forgot about the freaking Breath of the Wild 2, man. I mean, when I first saw that footage with Breath of the Wild 2, I personally didn't think it was. I mean, that was just like out of left field. All of a sudden, I see Link. It's like I see Link. I see Zelda. It's like, okay. It's like, this is more expansion DLC. What the hell is this?
yeah,
And all of a sudden, it's like the sequel to Breath of the Wild is now in development. I'm like, what?
yeah. I thought it was like I was waiting for, like, when I first started showing. I'm like, okay, this looks like Twilight Princess, possibly like these with the letters and floating in the sky. I'm like, oh, this is oh, maybe they're actually doing the Twilight Princess Wind Waker port that everybody's been talking about. Oh, maybe it's Skyward Sword or something. And oh no, it's actually cool. It's a Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 is in development. That's awesome. I love that.
That kind of looked a little bit more foreboding, though. From what the footage suggested and stuff. It looks like some sort of like demon or whatsoever. It's like being resurrected or some
Yeah,
shit.
I think it's like that's Ganon. It looked like Ganon was his corpse after the battle. So that's what my thought was. Anyways, I don't know if it's out there what it actually was. But yeah, that's awesome that's happening. That's probably like a early 2021 game at most, though, at the earliest. I mean, every other game they announced that's just in development, which is like Bayonetta 3, and then also Metroid Prime 4. Those games were announced in the first year that those consoles came out, and we haven't seen anything about them since then. So who knows what that means?
Oh yeah.
But these games actually have the whole world's already built. I mean, I know they're gonna make changes to it, but yeah. But anyways, I thought that's great. That's officially know it's happening. But I don't know. I can't wait. Kind of mixed. Like, I wasn't blown away by this one either. Like, this was, I don't know. Like, I still been going back and forth. Like, was Microsoft's better or was this better? In some ways, I like this better because it was just shorter. Not so much because it was shorter, but because like what they showed off cool stuff, but it was half the time of what Microsoft showed off. And Microsoft showed off a lot of cool stuff, but it was an hour and a half. This was 45 minutes, or a little under. So I think for the first time ever, man, I can't decide. I'm going to go with a tie between Microsoft and Nintendo with a 7.5.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't really, I don't know. I can't. This is just a weird E3, man. Like,
it most definitely is.
Like, usually, like, we'll do like our best and worst of the year show, and I was thinking about it. I'm like, I don't have anything to really talk about that's overly positive about this E3. Like, usually, like, I think
Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, like he was the best of the E3. Everything else was the worst of E3. Like usually I can make a top 5 list of like most anticipated or best of E3, and I can come away with a top 5 list and still cut games out. I can't think of 5 games I came away extremely excited for after, like, based off what was shown. Like, there's games I'm really excited for, but that, like, off of what was shown just off of E3, nothing blew me away. Outside of, nothing.
that I would consider that pretty disappointing. And overall, it's like if you can't even list like a group of like 5 games and stuff that you are most looking forward to playing across everything that was shown. I mean, that's just crazy to
Yeah,
me.
like if I had to pick a game of the show for E3, I guess it would probably have to be Doom Eternal. But that I was already extremely hyped for that game, and like they could have just said, "Hey, it's coming out November 22nd. Here's a trailer, 2 minute trailer," and that would have been it, and it would have been fine. But I don't know. There was just nothing that was new, and people keep saying, "Oh, well, we just know too much nowadays by E3." And I don't think that's true. I don't believe that. I
No,
think what it is this year, and I'm hoping this is what it is that this year that the new consoles come out in a year and a half. So I'm hoping that as people are just like they're holding their cards close to their vest, and it's like 2020 and 2021 is gonna be huge blowouts. And like we've had like
you know that Microsoft is doing that firsthand,
yeah
especially after buying up all these friggin' like companies, especially with Double Fine and this and that and stuff.
yeah
They're just basically what we're just witnessing is just a bunch of companies finishing up their current gen games and stuff and just blowing that stuff away and stuff, and then all of a sudden next generation it's just going to be possibly like streamline what we're going to see from Sony and Microsoft and some third parties,
yeah yeah.
hopefully.
It's something I talked before about Microsoft. They bought all these studios, but it's like really like they're just punting to the next generation. Like all those big developers they just bought are gonna.
It's quite obvious.
Yeah, so I don't know. I was just trying to think of like if I couldn't even come up with a game of the show, let alone a top 5 list or top 3 list. Like I like not to be like negative Nancy here and overly negative, but I don't know, man. Nothing blew me away this year. It wasn't terrible. There was still some stuff that came away from. I'm looking forward to, but there wasn't that big outside of Keanu Reeves. Like nothing was like awesome. And
You know what? The only thing I could really say with certainty that kind of blew me away, though, was that from this E3 in general was definitely Cyberpunk 2077. The way a lot of the story stuff was gone through and introduced. Plus, the whole thing with Keanu Reeves, yeah, that was fun. That was like something not expecting, though. But that was like one of those moments, especially when Keanu came out on stage, was like, oh man, this was fucking amazing,
mhm.
this is bad and stuff. But I'm definitely if like one of the games I am excited for is Cyberpunk 2077. I know we've known a little bit more about it, but yeah, that was definitely one of the games. Doom Eternal, I'm very much like happy to see how well this game is going, especially seeing all that gameplay of that damn thing. But other than that and stuff, a lot of things that we just saw like a bunch of trailers. We didn't see too much gameplay up until Square Enix had some bit, and then like freaking Nintendo had plenty of like gameplay stuff. So it's like I'm definitely looking forward to like Luigi's Mansion 3 when that eventually comes out, and definitely like the remake of Link's Awakening.
Yeah,
But a bunch of that stuff we've already known about, or basically have we basically know what's to expect from them. You know,
yeah. So yeah, I don't know. It's a down E3, and I think like I said, everybody's like Nintendo. We've been spoiled by games coming out, which I'd rather have the last 3 years or so. Like 2018, I thought was kind of a little bit of a down year, but some of the highs of 2018, like the top games that came out, were just
right?
fantastic. And there was definitely games that came out that I didn't like, Red Dead Redemption 2, stuff like that. That I didn't even play, that I didn't care for. But like God of War, Celeste, and those games like came out were just fantastic. Um, but yeah, I don't know. It was it was a good E3. It was not a we've been spoiled by great games and great E3s over the last few years, and I feel like next year is just gonna be a big blowout of like here's all the big games coming out for the next generation, and in 2021 it's probably even bigger, or at least hopefully so. Um,
Yeah, I kind of hope that next year is just going to be like a big blowout, especially with the new consoles being released. I mean, being like a reveal possibly before then, and then seeing a whole bunch of what's going to be confirmed as like launch titles. We already know that the next Halo is going to be pretty much a part of like Project Scarlet and stuff like that. But other than that, though, I kind of hope that the next year is going to have a lot of things going through, you know, making some form of excitement.
yeah, yeah. But I think that's gonna wrap up all of our E3 coverage, Gables. So
Yeah.
thank you guys so much for joining us and listening to all these podcasts. I think we did 5 altogether for these. Um, so yeah, once again, appreciate you guys all checking us out for all these. If you want to hear more from us, We have a Facebook page and group, Drunk Dash Nerds Podcast. Like and join us on there. On Twitter at Drunk Nerds Pod. Follow us on there. On twitch.tv/Colonel Gables. Follow him on there, please. On Spotify, we're there, Drunk Dash Nerds Podcast. Follow us. And if there is a way that you guys know how to review us, please do that there. On iTunes, Drunk Dash Nerds Podcast. Subscribe, please. Give us 5 stars. Leave a comment. Really appreciate if you did. And on YouTube, Drunk Dash Nerds, subscribe. Give us a big thumbs up for the show. Leave us a comment. Really appreciate if you guys check us out all in those places. And then tell a friend, please, as well. But once again, guys, thank you so much for listening. I was Tyler.
And I have been Colonel Gables. So until next time, everyone, have yourself a good day. And thank you very much for listening to another fun-filled episode of the Drunk Dash Nerds Podcast.
And hey, Gables.
Yep.
Too sweet.
Too sweet, man.
Bye, guys.
See ya.